Get an exclusive offer of Lego Titanic at $199.99 this winter, only on our website. In the midst of quiet, chilly April at Lake, the famous Titanic drowned to the ocean bed for the rest of its life. In 111 years of that time, the same incident in the same location occurred with a submersible. But then, what about the sinking of the refugee ship? What about the other incident? This is Two-Side Neutrality. It's back with Jan Waleed, the narrator, joined by three panels.
Hi, Slippy. I'm a BBC reporter.
Hello, this is Yumin. I'm a PhD professor teaching journalism in UCL.
Hello, I'm Yuna. I'm secretary from United Nations.
Probably a lot of you remember the missing of OceanGate's submersible Titan back in June. It was a whole rush of rescue missions and searching through the use of technological skills and the help of naval forces.
I do remember the time when all of the news articles give basically a minute-by-minute live update of Titan searching, not just as an article on a certain section, but as those taking a whole headline of the news website.
Well, BBC and Guardian, to my memory, they filled their very first pages with submarine updates and timeline of the incident when the users click on the main page link, right?
Yeah.
It felt like that the whole month was just dedicated to the submersible, OceanGate, the company itself, and people who were on board.
I honestly can't remember a lot about June except for the submarine incident. Basically forcefully fed and ultimately brainwashed.
Well, didn't it later found to have imploded on the day it started this journey?
Tragic incident for real.
But I also do think this topic gained interest from the general public because of its mind-blowingly absurd death. The CEO Stockton Rush was insensitive and ignorant to the top priority of the passengers and himself, safety.
It was an incident that was unnecessary in any sense at all cost.
But now, do we know what happened elsewhere around that time? So, 4 days before Titan incident, that is 14th of June, a fishing trawler smuggling overloaded migrants bounded off from Italy and was travelling on the coast of Messenia located in Greece. Now, we have to realise that this is a fishing boat. You all know how small they are. It's for fishing.
Yeah, it's probably for 10, considering it's the Mediterranean Sea, right?
Preferably, but it's loading refugees as well this time.
Aussies.
And there were officially 400 according to the United Nations, but according to the Alarm Phone Initiative, 750 were on board. Both numbers clearly mean it was super overloaded, and catastrophically, it sank in the Mediterranean Sea.
Honestly, I didn't know about all this until Obama raised his voice on the migrant boat tragedy, so we can definitely see that he drew attention to this issue and said the quiet part out loud.
Well, people say that the media should be neutral and also that stories should be reported in an unbiased manner. However, what we can see here is just obscene inequality.
The submersible's disappearance is a tragedy for its occupants and their families, but why do we give these missing people so much more sympathy and attention than those hundreds of migrants drowned to the bottom of the Mediterranean a few days ago?
Yeah, right. Some people started to accuse news outlets of hypocrisy of their relative silence. I guess the portrayal of contrast in media coverage creates a de facto message that normalizes the deaths of global south migrants, whilst the death of billionaires is an unprecedented tragedy.
Wait, but can we really come down hard on the news outlet? Because a big part of the coverage difference in mass media is based on the public interest. They're just chasing ratings, following what people want to see. It's always been this way.
I get where you're coming from, but let's not overlook the gravity of this incident. It's not just another refugee story. People were on a boat with a broken engine and they died due to deliberate neglect by the Greek government. And according to UNHCR, this shipwreck could be the second deadliest disaster ever recorded in the Mediterranean.
But you must understand the fact that the entire US Navy and the Coast Guard rushed to the Atlantic, fully equipped with new technologies to search and rescue the 5 wealthy men.
True, the Messenia incident on the other hand had more than 80 people died and unconfirmed, plus 500, including 100 children, remain missing. Is there any other way to look at this and explain it other than hierarchy of deaths? Media is inhuman at this point.
Well, fair point you raised there, but you do realize how people are pretty much desensitized to these refugee stories by now. They've seen it all. They're trained with this kind of story, and it's not that of a big deal.
I get it. It feels like we are bombarded with tragedy, but still that doesn't mean we turned a blind eye. If If we don't talk about this, how can we expect these things to change? This isn't about shock value, it's about making sure these stories matter and holding those responsible accountable.
Okay, but still, criticism of the media's interest-driven reporting is unfair to some extent. But I can say that the lack of coverage of immigrant tragedies illustrate the tendency to ignore the struggles of people in less privileged backgrounds.
Well, now we know that the big conversion isn't why is the news not covering it so much as why do we obsess over 5 rich people lost in submersible and ignore 700 migrants capsized at the sea. It's a stark reality check, but here's something to ponder as we wrap up for today. Are our values as a society reflecting the stories that dominate our headlines? And if so, what does that say about us? We'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. Get an exclusive offer of LEGO Titanic at 199.99 this winter, only on our website.